welcome to Win Stadium. It's grand final time in the under-18s Illawarra competition between the Thirroul Butchers and the Western Suburbs Red Devils. This is Johnny Pett calling all the action live for Bar TV Sports as we see the Western Suburbs Red Devils onto the field first. The Butchers, they're led onto the field by their skipper, Zach Isa. Matchups all over the paddock here today. The two best teams throughout season 2019 in the under-18s competition facing off. One of these teams will lift that trophy up at full time. For the Thirroul Butchers at fullback, Zach Isa. The wingers, Jai Patterson and Max Lees. The centres, Josh Martin, Blake Wellington. The halves, Connor Mulheason and Nelson Sharp. The front row, Caleb Hocking and Braden Grob. The hooker, Callum Isa. The back row, Toby Boothroyd, Aaron Shop. To lock the scrum, Jackson Sheriban. On the bench, Eamon Munro, Trent Griffiths, Cooper George, Liam Hammersley and Jai Elliott. The Butchers coached by Brent Gross. For the Western Suburbs Red Devils at fullback, Alex Lobb. The wingers, Ben Plum and Isaiah Kennedy. The centre pairing of Brock Sepulveda and Jordan Karakoussis. The halves, Junior Ramon and Callum Ray. The front row, Max Barnes, Braith Foe, and number 9, Tua Rangahita. The back row, Phoenix Finity, Tirana Tamari, Giovanni Nasua. He'll skip at the side, and on the bench, Cooper Reid, Luke Monk, Noah Lazick, Dylan O'Brien, James Pegler, and Taj Amone. The referee for today is Michael Ford, and alongside me today, the partner in crime, Mitch Jennings.
Oh, good to be here. I'll tell you what, Johnny, I woke up, put on Simply the Best straight away to Tina Turner and have me ready to go. And, mate, I was a little bit late getting there, as you might have sensed by the fact I've just jumped on the mic, but I came in through the tunnel, both sides going out at once. Boy, they were pumped up.
Yeah, they were pumped.
Oh, mate, it was a good room to be in. Made you wish. I ran out the tunnel. It's the closest I've ever come to running out on grand final day here at Win Stadium, but boy, I tell you what, these boys are pumped.
There's matchups all over the paddock here, Mitch. A lot of these kids played in that SG ball winning side for the Steelers.
And it looks like Mulheason's going to field that one. And they're right into it. There's some contact early on. That'll be Issa at dummy half. And just some sting goes straight out of you. Hear the silence. The boys was all pumped. And this is the tough bit, Johnny, early on. And there we go. And that's the last thing you want. Jai Patterson there coming in for an early carry off the wing. And he's put that down. But you just wonder if just the stoppage and packing for the scrum might just get the boys hard, let them settle down just a tad.
A little bit of nerves there. Young Jai Patterson, a very, very skillful centre outside back. Brent Gross has had him playing on the wing this season. He's one of those players that have been in and out of that SG ball system. A very, very fast outside back look for him today, Mitch. His younger brother got beat here yesterday in his under-14s grand final.
Yeah, okay. Well, there'll be there'll be motivation all across the park, you would think. And that's Karakoussis there, and he's driven backwards. That's some good defence there from the Butchers. Toby Boothroyd doing the defensive work there. Right into it, the boys. And they come left. Flapper there, and there's a shot. Some contact early on. I think it was Blake Wellington coming up from the outside in there, just trying to shorten up Tamari on that side. Now it's Sepulveda on this side. Back towards the middle of the park, Lawrence Foy there. Last tackle. And they come to Amone for the 6. And well fielded there, Zach Issa at the back, the skipper, and they've done well there, Johnny. There was you never like to make that mistake early on and give the rival side an opportunity that early on, but they weathered the storm well there, the Butchers defensively.
That'll give a big confidence boost to the skipper there at the back, just getting that first carry, and there we go. We just see a relieving penalty awarded to the Butchers. The Devils there just a little bit too eager in that defensive line, but you look at across the names in both of these sides, Mitch, and look, we've called a lot of Aaron Shop playing first grade. How good is it going to see him play a full game in under-18s?
Well, he's going to have a big game. These are the types of things. You see it before. It comes in, and you see a lot of guys that are floating between, age group footy and senior footy. They come back to here, and you think they're just going to cut it to ribbons. But the guys they're playing against lift, they're after them. They've got a target on their back, so it can be a tough one for guys like that to navigate. I'm sure Shoppy will be right in the thick of it, though. Connor Mulheason's another one with the footy now. Seen him never look out of place in first grade. I think he's been marvellous in his opportunities. So they're the guys you'll look at for the Butchers to have the impact this afternoon.
Watch on the other side of the field. They're number 6, Junior Remote.
A junior remote. I was about to say on the flip side. Got a player like him, was absolute superstar in the Steelers SG Ball premiership winning side, so he'll be one to watch as well. As we see a shift now. Boothroyd over there on that side, the redhead.
He'll be your
They've got one.
for the
Yep,
day.
they've got one ingredient, mate. You can't win a comp, have a good side without a tough redhead, and they've got one over there on that edge. And we see a spill ball there, so the Butchers, they'll get their opportunity. Double knock on the call.
I think we're going to see a knock on first to Western Suburbs.
No, it definitely was. It came off there. It was Sepulveda at the back there, the number 3 for the Devils. Spilling that one.
This back row that the Butchers possess here, Toby Boothroyd, Aaron Shop and Jackson Sheriff are stars.
There you go.
They are standouts for this Butchers side. These two have been the best sides in this under-18s competition, deservingly to be here today at Wynn Stadium.
So it is the Butchers on the attack. Tucky under his arm there, sharp. Like to see that from a half early on, getting some bruises and some bumps to get themselves into the game. They can, of course, pass you by. And this is Sherab. Boy, he was pumped up in the tunnel, I could tell you, before the game. Plays on emotion, clearly, as Calamissa now dragged down a metre short. He's in the goal box there. The Olyroos played here the other night. And Mulheason, he juggles that one. But some space on this side. Still going.
He's got that
I think
down.
he's got the ball down. He has. Well, there it is. That'll be the opening try. Not sure, was that Wellington or is it Martin playing on this side? Johnny, I think it's Wellington.
I think it is Wellington.
The number 4, yeah, it was Blake Wellington. So there you go. Not a lot doing there. Connor Mulheason, he juggled the ball there. It was a bit slow to his outside men. Just a case of one-on-one there, and early on, getting the wood there, Wellington over Sepulveda on this side.
At first glance, you thought he might have bombed it there because he had Patterson outmarked outside of him and just backed his own ability and went across there, and just brute strength, he was able to get that ball and slam the pigskin down.
He was, so that's the start. That's a good start there for the Butchers. They weather a defensive storm at the own end. Sometimes I think, Johnny, in a grand final, it can be a bit better to have a defensive test early on. You really build some confidence if you can turn the opposition side away and then to march up the other end and get points on their first visit. Certainly the start they would have been looking for just 7 minutes into this one.
Especially after their first set, they bobbled it and gave West an opportunity. Then had to do all that defensive work, march their way down the paddock, first points on the board.
I'm just looking to our right, the referees box.
Oh, they got it good. They've got it good.
But they've fallen away. Usually we see the Great Northerns everywhere and the champagne, the passion pop, but we got none of it. The boys are all business today in the referees box.
What about the 5-star biscuits they've got up the back there hidden away?
Indeed, the water crackers.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see,
They're not
that in the media box.
They're not your Aldi edition. They're the
Go for
top shelf.
some caviar. Some pastrami with kale. We see Mulheason moving in. And he struck that pretty well, Mulheason. It might just fade across the face of the post. It does. So a decent strike, but 4-0 remains the score. But advantage to the Butchers early on.
What about the old school kicking tee Mulheason's using? He's got the old black one. You know, we always see everyone using the green one.
Everyone's got those green ones,
Yeah.
or those bloody special kick-off ones.
Yeah.
They should be illegal. Look at that, the beer baron, he's on top of
I
it.
thought he was bringing in a couple of stubbies.
Yeah, he's on top of it already, mate. He's a weary man by the end of this, isn't he, the beer baron? This is his grand final day as much as anybody else's. Because that's Hocking now. Bringing the ball back. Shop on this side. In the back row. Has a good game today. It'll be painful for a lot of the Steelers faithful. Signed with the Bulldogs recently, Aaron Shop. And we get Sheriff now. And that's another mistake there from the Butchers. Now it's the Devils with the footy. So that is top of the list after points to complete the set. They haven't managed to do it there, the Butchers. And that's 0 of 2 coming out of their own end. So it's the Devils on the attack looking for the quick hit back. Kennedy now. In off the wing. He'll settle in front of the post. Amon there on the right calling the shots. He's going to go right into the line. Second man out the back there for Lob. Lob some space. It's a good tackle in the end there by Sharp. Needed to be made there. Amone again. And they will settle now through Lawrence Foy. Amone again, and he puts it on the toe. It's taken a bit of deflection there off Shop, so well deflected there in the end. Issa, it's always nerve-wracking when you got a forward, just sticks a boot out at a loose ball. It can go anywhere, but Issa reeling that one in, and it's another bullet dodge there for the Butchers. So defensively standing up pretty well, Johnny.
Well, you can give them 2 ticks there. Every time, last 2 times the Devils have been attacking the Butchers line, they've really stood up and held them out. That'll give them a huge confidence boost. But ball security, that'll have to be the message getting sent out from Brent Groves.
Well, that is all all coaches tell you. I know Paul McGregor is very, very big on the fact that errors will happen. You're never going to go into a game and not make errors. It's your ability to defend your errors is what is important. And we've seen the Butchers do that twice now. Early on, mind you, I think, Brent Groves might be a bit filthy if they can't get out of their own end a third time. But that's a good kick on the end of that from inside the 40. A very good kick there from Sharp. And now it's the Devils having to do it tough out of their own end. This is the part, Johnny, you can often see things. As I said, the boys very, very pumped up. At under 18s level, a bit more than you'd see, a first grade side. They're a bit more measured and playing the long game. And this is where the piano can drop on a little bit just after here we are just creeping up on 10 minutes. And now another mistake there from the Devils. It's Amone, the danger man there. He's just spilled that one.
You'll have to put that down to the line speed of the Butchers there, Mitch. They were just really up and in the grill of Amone there. They know he's the danger man. He's Mr. Creative for this Western Suburbs side.
And are we seeing some nerves at play? Because both sides now in their own end making errors. The Butchers have been good enough to defend it. The Devils, not so much on their last effort. They'll be looking to do that now and not find themselves down 2 tries early on in this one. The Issa at the back of the scrum. Martin over there on that side. He's dragged down 25 metres out. 15 in from touch. Grob. He's going to settle back towards the post. He's on the edge of the goal box. Issa at dummy half. They come open side to Mulheason. Goes away from Shop, the second man. The cutout ball there. He's into space. And it's taken a deflection. They're going to say play on. And that'll be another try there to Jai Patterson on this side. Beautiful ball there from Zach Issa, the skipper. It looked like it might have travelled a tad forward, but I think that was a result of the deflection. I think it's a hand stuck out there by Sepulveda on this side. So there it is, just like that. 2 journeys up this end of the park, Johnny, for 2 tries for the Butchers.
What about the vision from Issa there? Just put that long cutout ball there. It did take a deflection, but all the defence, they just come and jammed in. They left Patterson out on this right-hand picket swing all alone. And there he goes, brings it round to make the conversion a little bit more easier for Connor Mulheason.
And this is going to be the edge. You know that, Johnny. They'd know that, the Devils. When they come in here, they know exactly where the danger's going to be. We mentioned those 2 names, Connor Mulheason and Aaron Shop. Plenty of first grade experience under their belt. We know how much of a future at the very top level Aaron Shop has. And they're both here on this right edge. So that's going to be a tough task to deal with throughout the afternoon there for the Devils.
What a foil Aaron Shop can be in this grade of football as well. Because all over the tip sheet, you'd be thinking that they'd just be up on Shoppy. And he can just run that perfect decoy line, and these outside backs are going to have a field day outside of him.
It's precisely what we saw there, Johnny. They went behind Shop on this occasion to the skipper, Zach Issa, on this side, and creating some space. I thought he might have bombed it by going for the long ball. I thought through the hands might have been the better option there, but Patterson, he had plenty of space once he reeled that in. He was never going to be dragged down there, and that's a beautiful kick there from Mulheason. The other one missed, Johnny, but doesn't it look good off the boot, Mulheason? He's off a short run up. It just flies off the tee.
They've got some big raps on Connor Mulheason, don't they? Coming into some representative football and high grades of rugby league.
Yeah, indeed, and with good reason, as I said. Really, really was outstanding in his efforts in first grade this year for the Butchers. And the number 9 at that level. Certainly got that the body shape as a number 9. And so it is now the Butchers coming out of their own end. That's Hocking. I say he was probably the loudest voice at the back there, Johnny. Caleb Hocking. He was absolutely belting out the noise there. It was fantastic. They're narrow tunnels down there, Johnny, and both sides had to go. They were right there going out the same one. Of course, as we see down there, the Butchers and West, they're both coming out of the same tunnel there.
Geez, that's a good carry there from Sherab.
He's a big lump of a thing, Sherab, isn't he? As we see the kick again. And that time, that is the set Brent Gross would have been looking for after points. Sharp just rolling that one onto the ground and forcing Lob to pick up the bouncing ball. And it just looks, they look a little slow coming back on side there, Johnny, although they're all getting back behind the footy now, the Devils. It's not as if they haven't had a lot of footy, Johnny. It's just been, haven't been able to make it count at the other end. It's hardly been possession swinging one way or the other. It's just the Butchers at this stage making better use of the footy.
Can't say they haven't had their chances.
And Amone now, he just tucks that one on Mulheason all over his opposite number there. Wellington also doing some hard defensive work underneath. Three-man tackle there from the Butchers. And Nassau, he's got the 13 on his back, but he's been in at dummy half a lot. Giovanni Nassau, the skipper for the Devils. I think we might find that's actually where he's playing, as that ball spills out the back there, but Issa coming away with it. And that might have just gone past the horizontal. And the boys, they're just a bit antsy there, but not too much. Issa, well, he's fighting out of his weight division there. Issa against big Tajamone.
He's a lump, isn't he? Tajamone?
Oh, he's a big, big boy, I think. Callum Issa, what's he thinking? That was like UFC 1, where they just threw him in there. No weight divisions, no nothing.
Do your best, boys.
Just lock the cage, no time limits. Getting back to the bare bones of it there, as Shop will take the inbound pass. Mulheason. Flat ball there onto Griffiths. In fact, I think it is Griffiths who started there. I was I was giving him the big rap for the voice, but no, it was the 15, Griffiths. Really revving the boys up there prior to the game, and the ball spilled there, and they're going to say a penalty. And an interesting call here, Johnny. They're up 10-0.
You take the two?
I think Mulheason knocks it over from there with relative ease, and they're saying the two. I see the signal going up there. Brent Gross, Mitch Bate on the sideline. And I think a pretty wise call there, Johnny. We're 15 minutes into this one. You're 2 tries to the good. It looks like they've ignored him. They have. They've ignored him. Beto, get out there, mate. They both, I saw it down on the side. I looked, and Brent Gross, Mitch Bate, both putting the 2 points up, but the message not quite getting there. So we'll see whether or not that pays off for the Butchers here as Mulheason's dragged down. Issa a dummy half. Griffiths now, he's going to look to settle back towards the post. Issa a dummy half again. Flat ball there. And a long ball on that side. And I think it's a good effort there defensively. I think they've pulled him up over there on that side. Martin it is. And he'll be made to play. It's a good defence over there on that side. Karakoussis and Kennedy on that side. In fact, I think it was Plum, actually, for the Devils there on that side. Scarab, that's a nice little tip on there. And that's Hocking. And that ball gone behind Mulheason, the intended receiver there. It is the last tackle. He's going to put the kick in, looking for Patterson. But that's well reeled in there by Plum on this side. And there we go, Johnny. I think if they had their time again, they would have got the men in Fleur out there a bit quicker to tell them to take the 2 points. 10-0 remains the score. 18 minutes left in this first stanza.
It'll be a hot topic there.
And Amone and some space. Karakoussis on that side. And you think it will be. So next time, as the game goes down the stretch in particular, those things can really matter. Bit of a brains trust down there. Bate, Gross, Oswald on that. Down there on that bench, and they all were in agreement. They all had the 2 fingers up.
It's not a bad.
Maybe because there was 3 of them with the 2 fingers up. Maybe Conor
Press on for 6.
He thought go for the 6. So there we go. Went for it and came up short.
Not a bad coaching staff either from both sides of the field, is it?
Yeah, indeed. Amone onto Amone. He'll play it just short of halfway. Some footwork there at the line there from Lawrence Foy. He'll play it on halfway, dead centre of the park. Wide ball there, and he's put that down there, Lob. Just having a bit of a look at the defence. So the Devils, they just can't get through a set, Johnny, particularly at their own end. You can't keep inviting the Butchers into their end to start sets so close to the try line in good ball. We've seen the Butchers haven't been much better at their own end coming out of trouble. To my count, They're 1 and 2 at the end, Butchers coming out, but I think that's 0 and 3 now for the Devils coming out of their own end.
Well, they just haven't found the grass in the last kick, have they? They just can't get the 5th or 6th tackle options at the moment.
We haven't seen the long kick yet from the Devils, and here we are now. We're getting fairly deep into this one. Thirroul on that side. Dragged in there. Karakousas coming again for a second dig. Drags him down just over the other side of halfway. Martin now takes it up over the 40. Griffiths heavily involved early on. Griffiths, he's gone old school too. He's got the years take back. I love it. He's got the Paul Siren and look happening. Hopefully he'll be hoping it goes a bit better than the 89 grand final for Big Ciro, but early indications are that could be the case for the Butchers. Flat ball again. Boothroyd in some space. That's a good tackle over there. Bit of affinity on that side. Another high one. And he spilt that lob and shop. He's going to grab the extras, and that'll be another try there to the Butchers. And I was about to say, Plum, he made light work at the last kick that went his way. Really reeled it in beautifully, Buddy Franklin-like. But on that occasion, he spills it, Naren Shop. He grabs what'll be the easiest try you would think of his career, although the ball was bouncing around. He's already got the try that's entry to his name, Aaron Shop, earlier this year. Now, an apologies, I will go back to the 11. Phoenix, Vetenebua, Finity, the name there. So, with all due respect and apologies to the I'm going to stick with Finity through the afternoon, because that is absolutely... I've got 3 games to call today, and that the tongue will be too tied by first grade if I'm going to call that every time. So, we'll go with Finity on that side, but... There's a few mouthfuls in this west side, I've got to say, as we go down the list. And Issa just having a chat to the referee, Michael Ford there as well. So 14-0 the score, 15 minutes before the break, and in the grand final,
it's a good
you
lead.
want to start well. It's almost, these two sides were obviously involved in last year's first grade decider, and it's playing out very much the way that one did, but with the Butchers out in front, of course, that one last year. 18-0 after about 15 minutes, I think it was, in the first grade decider last year. Of course, the second half played out in very different fashion.
I didn't think it was that windy coming here today. As of yesterday, it was howling in here.
Yeah, it is. Oh, that wind. I'll tell you what, I live at Kirraville, mate, in the Shadowton Mountain. The doors, we were inside with windows and doors shut, and they were nearly blowing off. I kept thinking someone was knocking on the door. Listening to a lot of Ivan Milat podcasts, I'll tell you what, it was giving me some scares in the middle of the night when you're not really with it. And so Mulheason, with the assist from Sherab here, will be looking to add the extras. That breeze, it's a strong one, and on your screen it's going. There you see, that was beautifully there from Mulheason. It looks like I said, it's like maple syrup off the tee. Beautiful, but that breeze blowing directly towards that hill. You can see over there on that side that's starting to get filled up. Plenty of the Butchers faithful over there, and we just see as well, it's Boothroyd coming to the sideline, and he's clutching it.
It's the shoulder.
Was it the shoulder? Because I actually thought he was clutching at the unmentionables there, Johnny. I thought he might have caught one in the old Jats, and he's looking in a world of pain, so I think that might be the case. Dr. Jennings up here has diagnosed a whack in the cods. There's a head of steam there. Munro just come onto the park. And this will be top of the list. Let's complete this set, is what will no doubt be the message there from Brent Gross's shop. Takes it up towards the 30. Well handled there on that occasion. Lawrence Foy doing the hard defensive work, and some good contact there. First up as well. It was a moan there with Ranger Hater is the 9. Let's come onto the park there for the Devils. Is this one going back, and Plum, some nice feet there, but driven backwards. That's a good chase on the kick.
That's what you want to see from your kick chase, don't you?
Mulheason and Patterson. So obviously the message has got out there, Johnny. We said completions at their own end was going to be what was important for them, and they've done that now on the last 2 occasions. Lawrence Foy taking up over the 20. And Rangaheda now at dummy half in the headgear. Looks like he's just been injecting the action, and I think that'll be a penalty, and that's a stupid one. And now Sherab as well getting involved in some more Well, that's just silly. Obviously, you go at this level, Johnny, we say, in under 18s, you can get a bit of a rush of blood to their head, but late in the count there, deep in their own end. And Sherab there just giving away a really silly one. I know Brent Gross will be filthy on that one, because they've really been doing it tough out of their own end, the Devils, and now you're giving them a piggyback up your end. And how quickly things can turn in a grand final. And as I said, particularly in this age group, things can absolutely turn on a dime. I can't remember an under 18s grand final in recent years that hasn't gone down to the wire. Still, the memories, Thirroul, the Thirroul Footy Club would still have to have memories of Tristan Saylor in under 18s 2 years ago. Now, of course, playing up at NRL level, but it might have actually been 3 years ago now that he's 21, under 18s there, and he scored right on the bell.
He broke their hearts that day.
Absolutely broke their hearts. So maybe these boys are only about 14 or 15, but it'll be well in the memory of the Butchers Footy Club. It is the Devils now. Meter in from touch, over on the far side. Amone at first receiver, gives it on to Amone. Haven't seen him with the head of steam yet, Johnny, because they've mostly been on the defensive since he come onto the park. And Amone at first receiver again, and he tucks it under the arm and goes hard at the try line. The flick pass. It's out the back. They're still on the attack, the Devils, and that's reeled in nicely there. I think it's Shop. Just caught that around his bootlaces. And again, the last tackle options there when they have their opportunities, the Devils, they're not really getting it into that in-goal where they'd like it. They haven't made it into the in-goal as yet. And there's some contact. Lawrence Foy. I think he's half cleaned up his own teammate there, Lawrence Foy. Oh.
He's rung the
Noah
bell.
Lazacic on this side. He came back dusty as all hell from that shot. He's still looking in a world of pain. He's been great, the number 10 for the Devils. Really holding up his end. Now it's the Butchers' last tackle. And they'll go to Sharp. Again looking for the kick, and he's found touch on that one, and that's a good little settler. That's what you want to see, Johnny. 16-0, you've got a nice margin. No need to do anything outside the percentages. In a composed play there from the number 7.
Nice there by Nelson Sharp there. Just finds it over the sideline there. Gives his Butchers a bit of a breather here, and they'll just reset here. But the Devils' ball security, it'd have to be the message going out, and it's going to have to be a hot topic there at half-time, because they're their own worst enemies at the moment, as well as their last tackle options. Junior Amone down the other end, you really thought he would have gone for a repeat set.
I think he can't afford, Johnny, as dangerous as he is with the footy. He was tackled on the last tackle, and you can't afford to do that when you're as key a man in your lineup as Amone is. As I said, along with Shop, the best credentialed player out there, certainly in terms of rep honours and the future you imagine they'll have.
What about the scuffle in the background here?
You see boys, they're getting around it. I think that was Shop. No, it's 14. Eamon Munro there. Just getting involved in some of that stuff. And Nassau now, that's a good little kick. And putting Patterson under pressure and a good chase on it. Well, there you go, Johnny, where 9 minutes before half-time and the Devils, for the first time in this half, get through a set and put a good kick on the end of it and put some pressure on the Butchers. It's taken, here we are with 9 minutes before half-time, and they've finally got to it.
What about the size of the bopper that's just come on for the Red Devils here, the 25, Ulrich Iona? Have a go at the size of him.
Oh boy, yeah, you're right. I want to inject him into the action quickly. Shop now on the 40. Flat ball there for Griffiths. He's trying to get up towards halfway, but he's dragged down by that man, Iona. And now Issa from dummy half, and he's put the kick in for himself. He's going to get a bounce here if he can scoop it up. Beautifully scooped up. He's got Mulheason in support. Oh! And that's a great take there by Plum. And Issa Mulheason was in support, and he went the right way, Mulheason. He went back towards the post, but Issa just seemed to lose him in his vision. But if he looks back to his left, Mulheason is over under the post, and the way the game's playing out almost puts this one to bed.
He had Nelson Sharp barking on his inside as well. He had players all around him, but there we go. Under pressure, sometimes you just take that wrong option, don't you, Mitch?
And it was good work for him. He put the kick through, and he scooped that up. That was a beautiful pickup. Lucky Callum is only about 4'1" or something like that. Playing well above his size in the middle today defensively, but beautiful pickup there, and Just went for the kick, and I think it's lucky Plum reeled that in, because that was going into the back fence, I think, Johnny, that kick.
Had some pepper on it, didn't it?
Yeah. I really didn't like Patterson's chances of running it down, to be honest, if he got in behind Plum, but Plum, a beautiful take there. I was going to say in the deep, but it was probably more like a catch in the gully there from Plum. Griffiths now taking up over halfway.
Good Boothroyd's back on the field, so his
Boothroyd's coming back, so he's
right.
made a bit of a recovery. I don't know if the physios have done a taping job on that one, because that'd be tough to get off after the game. Sharp now, flat ball on that side. Martin it is. He gets the offload back into Sharp. 5 metres in from touch. And Boothroyd, that man, back into the action. Showing no ill effects there. He's really pumping through the other side. Dragged down 10 metres out, 15 in from touch. Mulheason at first receiver. Dummies to the outside. Mulheason drops it on the toe. He's looking for the post, but Lobb scoops that up really well. That was tough. That looked easy in the end, but when you've got the uprights and the pads to deal with, Johnny, that was a difficult take. Lobb at the back made it look easy.
He made it look very, very easy, didn't he? The Butchers chase just really didn't hammer down on that kick there. There was no communication between Mulheason and the outside backs then, but great work there by Lobb, the custodian for the Devils.
Barnes now up over the 40. And the kick will come back to Amone from inside his 40. Looking for a pretty decent angle on it, but Patterson awake to it, as is Issa. A bit of an awkward bounce there for Issa. And they'll push him towards the sideline, and he's... Well, there you go. Turning it with their defence. That's a big play there from Morgan Monk, the 15. Good chase there on that kick. And Issa, he was looking for Patterson, but Patterson had gone, I think, infield. Ready for the next carry. And Issa, he did well. He looked over his shoulder. I think he was just going to hoik it back in field. Had he done that, there was nothing but blue and red jumpers around the footy. So taking into touch, and now it is the Devils with a chance. 6 minutes before half-time, a 4-pointer. They could turn into 6. It'd be huge here, Johnny.
It'd be absolutely massive if they can cross the stripe here 6 minutes out from half-time. But good awareness there from Luke Morgan-Monk just to hold Issa up and get him over the sideline. Issa was doing his best to hit the deck, but the strength of Monk there just to hold him up in the tackle and put him over the sideline.
Yeah, not the heaviest bloke out there, Issa, and just with the awkward bounce, he couldn't get any sort of momentum going into his carry there. So good defence from the Devils. The bench there, injecting some energy rather. Barnes now. And that one dumped out the back to that man, Morgan Monk. And the boys, well, they're getting into it here. Shop and Barnes getting well tangled up. And it's play on, though. Michael Ford letting play go. And often that's the best way to get guys out of a bit of stick. Shop is pointing to the touch judge. Well, he wants to get back on side.
Well, I'm surprised that didn't get pulled up then.
Amone. And that's a good tackle there on that side. I think it was Issa, the fullback. And he's going to have to now skirt back across the park. That's a good kick from Amone in behind, but Sharp, he's awake to it. And Shop is still whinging to the touch judge here, Johnny. He was standing there. If they've gone short side and scored, if I'm Brent Gross, I'm sending Mitch Bate out there to give him a spray. He's an experienced player in this team. As we said, the biggest star probably out there in this match as far as rep honours and those sorts of things go, and they all just sort of stop there. We see Michael Ford calling out skippers for a bit of a chat. As I said, Johnny, often the best way to stop that sort of stuff going on in back play is to call play on, and they realise they have to get back involved. And it was the Butchers almost caught napping there.
Is Issa just having a chat to Shop there?
I think he was. You think, yeah, well, they're getting much. I don't know if he's the bloke who'd be picking Shop out there, to be honest. He's certainly an Adonis. And Aona, well, he's slipped it through the hands there, the big fella. He's going to try to get ahead of steam up, and he winds up right into that. There you go. And it's his first carry he's had, Johnny. Mostly had to do the defensive work, the big man, since coming onto the park. See what he can do with the ball there. Barnes driving into that one, a 3-man tackle there from the Butchers. So slow going to start this set from the Devils. And that's Tamari. He's another player who can have a huge impact. You want to get on the back of his work if you're Amone or the 7 Callum Ray.
Wouldn't be
And
a
it
West
is that
team
man,
without a
Ray. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, well, there we go. And Shop, well, he just monsters Ray there. And it was, he had a decoy. And, well, there, that's an interesting one. Michael Ford, he's obviously seen something there. Shop, it was a monstering tackle there on Ray. And that can happen, Johnny, when you put a big shot like that. You just do want to go home with it when it's on the deck. And Shop might have just done that there and seen his side get penalised. It'll be a bit of a relief there for the Devils. They were really going nowhere in that set.
This will be the third set for the Devils in a row here, inside Butchers' territory here, and it'll be a huge boost if they can cross the stripe here, Mitch. But if the Butchers can hold them out, wouldn't that be good to see for them going into this halftime
I was
break?
about to say, on the flip side of that, Johnny, you have to imagine the lift if they can keep the Devils to 0 in this half. It's Tamari coming back in the field, and that's a nice tackle underneath, although he didn't finish it off, Hocking. It's Shop who ends up doing that. Amone, he'll back himself from there. Amone still going, Amone. Pulled down just short there. Knew he was going to go. And now it's Ray at first receiver. And Shop again. Well, Callum Ray must owe Aaron Shop some money. He's taken his interest one way or another there, Shop. As Amone puts this one high, it's a bit deep. And that's brilliantly taken over there on that side. Max Lee's there, just jumping. That was up there, Gazali-like. And again, they repel the Devils there, Johnny. And we were just saying, you think they'd get a lift. And you imagine now, 2 minutes 40 left on the clock before half-time. The Butchers, they'll just walk a little bit taller after that.
That's massive, isn't it, for the Butchers? That's got to give them a huge confidence boost. I know they're 16-0 up on the scoreboard, but their defensive efforts down defending their own goal line has been sensational in this first half. Devils have got to start to be thinking, how are we going to crack it?
Well, as much as we've said they've had some footy there, Johnny, they haven't really looked like scoring. Butchers have really looked up to it. I think it's going to come from the most danger. They've been a bit sideways, the Devils. It looks where they're going to get the joy is the likes of Amone just getting some quick ball out of dummy half. He went close under the post there just by getting a little bit one-on-one with a defender. He's going to be awfully hard to stop from close range there. They were good enough to do it, but they keep going back to that well. They could get some joy.
They just haven't, their halves, Amone and Ray, they haven't been able to play off the back of their forwards because Thirroul are really dominating in the middle of the field in the forward battle at the moment. It hasn't been the allowance for Amone and Ray to do their creative work, what we've seen them do so well this season.
And so the Butchers now, 1:30 on the clock. They'll be looking to put this one to bed, Johnny, if they can get a try here. And you think even a penalty, they'll be rushing the 2 points out there to make it an 18-point ball game.
Mitch Bader won't be able to run out quick enough.
I think no, or maybe just one person with the two fingers up. Shot from close range, off his right foot. He'll be tough to stop from there. And they do well, though. The Butchers getting some bodies around the footy. They hold him up. As I said, Johnny mostly used him as a bit of a decoy on this side. He's been very big defensively at the other end. But with the footy, you think he'll have a bigger impact as the game goes on. Looking to do that just there, but pulled up short. Mulheason now finding Hammersley. Hammersley will play it just to the right of the post. Issa, he shapes left, goes right. And there we go, the hit and spin from the big man, Baden Grob. Beautiful work. They shifted and go back the other way, a set piece there. And Nassau, it was good contact from the skipper there for the Devils, but Hocking wore it well and spins, and the defence coming back on the inside, not shutting the gate. There it is, 20-0, and you'll think from close range, Mulheason to add the extras, 22-0 at the break, Johnny. As far as perfect halves of footy go in a grand final, you couldn't ask for much more if you were Brent Gross.
Well, on the scoreboard, 20-0 in a grand final going at half-time, that's massive. That's massive. And they haven't been 100% Mickey Mouse, the Butchers, have they? They've had some lapses in attack where they've dropped the ball. They haven't been able to complete their sets. But defensively on their own goal line, that's what's winning in this match. They're not allowing the Devils to cross that stripe. And once they get down the other end of the paddock, it's just showtime there. And that set play there in the try to Grob, we see it in their first grade side. We see the likes of Mick Morris and Joel Johnson doing
back towards the
that
middle.
move.
There you go.
You know,
absolutely, yeah. It's a Butcher's special.
It sure is there. And that one, they'd be wrapped with that. It's one of those moves that you train all year for, and that you've got that one opportunity to do it in a game, and it pulls off. And they've done it well then.
I'm just thinking about popping next door here. They've got the Mersey Valley. They've got everything in here. Referees. They always march to their own beat. There is a function going on in the victory room. Not that far into the distant future, but there they are and more coming in.
They set themselves up, don't they, each year?
Yeah, we always see them right here next to us. They haven't got the Great Northern in there yet. They've got the leafy salad. I don't know how much of a look's that going to get. I tend to think one of the boys' wives have made them carry that one along.
Take the salad with you.
But Mulheason, yeah, one of his easier prospects of the afternoon. At risk of putting the mock on him. And, geez, I very nearly did, but he sneaks it just to the good side of the left upright. So that'll be half-time at 22-0. The Butchers over the Devils. A huge mountain to climb in the second half for the men in the red and blue. Although it is grand final day, it has a habit of tossing up the incredible. It's what we'll need to see in the second half for the Devils to make a game of it, Johnny. We'll see if they can do that. Be back with the second stanza in just a little while. Tate Russell, the son of Ian Russell, signed with the Western Sydney Wanderers, making his own way in the round ball game. I don't know how deep into his career he played footy, because it was a fair pedigree he had in the game, but
Not bad stock, is it?
yep, I do occasionally bump into the legendary Ian Russell at Dicey Riley's, and very, very proud of his son's efforts in that game, and as he well should be. Don't know if he's listening. I hope he is. G'day, Ian, if you are out there.
How's that kickoff from Shop?
It went. I didn't. Well, that's that breeze at work. It is, as I said, it's largely going directly towards the hill, but probably down towards that northeastern corner as we see some expansive footy early on, and that's Spilt straight out the back. It was a good tackle from the inside out there. Josh Martin from the Butchers.
Well, what looked like a great little passage of play there. They spread it out wide. It's the first time we've seen them. Oh, good contact.
Well, it's been that man there, Braith Lawrence Foy. He has been the Devils' best. No doubt the number 10. Been outstanding in a side that's been well beaten thus far, but getting up off the line there and making a play. But as you said, Johnny, some encouraging signs there from the Devils. Just getting the ball, just getting some depth and coming onto the ball with some vigour. Just seems to have been a little bit sideways. And the likes of Amon, I haven't seen him get the ball off a quick play the ball yet this afternoon. So if they can start just generating some of that go forward through the middle, it's where they will get some joy, you would think, as Lobb now taking that first carry off the scrum. What about some of the contact we've seen, Johnny, in this game so far?
It's a good brand of footy, the under-18s, isn't it? They go hammer and tongs the whole game. They've got no respect for their bodies.
And they don't wrestle either. That's what I love to see in the 18s. They just it's all contact. And that's Kennedy there on that side. He's got the 5 on his back, but I think he's been playing in the back row most of the game. Haven't seen him out on the flank anyway. Nassau onto that man, Lawrence Foy.
Well, he's about 7'2", isn't he, Kennedy?
Yeah, he's a big boy. He'd be more than handy as a winger. And Amon, he's putting this one high. This will be a tester. And reeled in beautifully there in the end there by Max Lees. And that's the second one he's had put up towards his side. He's reeled them both in and made it look easy. And he's going to come out for the carry as well. But not too disappointing to see there. It's Matty Ray calling the shots down there on the sideline. Wasn't aware I've been Kingy overseas currently. What they tell me. So Matty Ray stepping up and calling the shots down there for the 18s.
That was poor timing for a holiday.
Yeah, well, there you go. As Sherab now, that's a good carry from the lock forward, straight through the middle of the park. As I said, big lump of a lad, Sherab, and he's putting a gap in him there. Mulheason now getting on the back of it. And that's the difference, Johnny. The halves with some go forward to work off for the Butchers, really putting a gap in the defence. Now it's Shop off his right foot. He's dragged down 15 metres out. Short side there from Issa. Going close there on that side, Wellington. And back on the inside, and I'm not sure that was the play, Johnny. Not a lot of space to work with, and the Devils had numbered up quite well on that side. And Shop, he's looking for the one-on-one there, but won't get it.
Well, they peppered that short side. They just went one too many times down that short side there. They had a huge backline set out here to the left. And look, they were stretching the Devils' defence out there because they were all jammed up behind the ruck.
And Amon, flat ball there for Tamari. In fact, I think it might be Finity on this side. Tamari patrolling the other edge. Karakoussis now. Still going Karakoussis. He's just short of the 40. Good work there from the centre. Sensing his forwards a bit of work early on in this one. And that's that man Kennedy. As I said, not playing on the wing, certainly not. He's been in everything. And now Lobb putting that kick down, and Issa, well, he juggled that one, but he manages to reel it in. And he makes some metres on the kick return too. That's a poor chase, Johnny. That early in the half, and then it's compounded there by Tamari just falling on top of Issa there. He had committed, he couldn't quite get out of it, and that's just a poor chase, Johnny. Issa, he juggled it. He didn't really have a full head of steam coming onto that footy, but brings it back. He got about 15 metres on the carry and a penalty on the back of it. And what had been a pretty good set with the footy there from the Devils, undone with a poor chase and then the penalty. And that's just been the story of their afternoon thus far.
And a 20-metre touch finder there from Mulheason. It just gives the Butchers 6 tackles inside the 40, attacking the Devils' line. And look, you can't give a team in any situation that piggyback like that, the line speed, the kick chase, it's got to be better from the Devils. 22-0 down on the scoreboard. They really need to start this second half with a little bit more authority.
Indeed. And the Butchers, you think, Johnny, stranger things have happened, but if they score first in this one, the Butchers, they can just about start engraving the trophy, you would think. Now it's Mulheason. Hasn't he played a measured hand this afternoon, Johnny Mulheason? He hasn't overplayed it. He's given his men some early ball when they've needed it. He's been outstanding. We said he'd need to be one of the ones that stood off, as has Sharp, as we see Issa now. And some space on this side, and that's a great one-on-one tackle. Needed to be made there. Karakusis on Martin. Sharp now. He's going to put the kick across, and it's gone a bit backwards off the boot. And Shop, he just gets out of the way. And, well, Shop on Callum Ray again. He definitely owes him some money, Johnny.
But what about there from Aaron Shop? He just allowed Ray to catch that ball, and as he hit the deck, he just pushed him back 10 metres. That just goes to show the talent of Aaron Shop there to read that play so
Yeah, it was clever.
well.
A lot of people might have just thrown the body up there and tried to reel it in, either made a mistake or given away the penalty, but makes it tough now for the Devils coming out of their own end. That's a great run again. Lawrence Foy will... He's certainly standing up for the Devils.
He's been their best today, hasn't
Indeed, he has. Now it's Amon taking up over the 40. That's a good carry from the big man and a quick play the ball. It's just something we haven't seen a lot of, and it's going to allow Amon to put an attacking kick in. And it bounces awkwardly for Issa, but he reels it in and he'll take it up towards the 30-metre line. But there you go, John. He had a chance to put in a decent kick there, Amon, just on the back of some go forward.
They got the go forward there. They good go forward. It was a quick play the ball there from Taj Amon, which allowed them to steam down the middle of the paddock. But again, Junior Amon's kicking game, it's just not what we've seen in his career so far, is it? We've seen him have that finesse, that big, deep kicks, but at the moment, he just hasn't been able to do that.
We see Mulheason bringing Shearer back through the middle. Takes it up over the Devils' 40. And they go short there on that side to Hocking. We see Griffiths now just coming onto the park. On this side, Sharp. Flat ball there for Boothroyd. He's got some space on the outside again. The Butchers, and he dummies.
Oh,
that's a brilliant tackle.
Tackle.
Absolutely brilliant tackle coming across in cover there. It was Finity. And now Mulheason drops that on the toe, and it's in behind Nassau, and he goes back to clean it up. And they're going to say a penalty. He was taken off as he was chasing it. And now the two very quickly. Look at Mitch Bader, shot out of a cannon that time to say take the two. Quickly make it 24-0, but I think the Devils will breathe a sigh of relief at that. The task is pretty much the same, needing to score those tries, but what a tackle Affinity on this side. It looked like Martin was in for all money. He threw the dummy on the outside. It was the right call. They fell for it, but the cover tackle there coming from
Affinity, sensational.
Retnabu Affinity.
Well, this will go down about to 24-0. Connor Mulheason, you'd think, would strike this one and put it over the red dot down here facing the northern end. And look, where do the Devils go from here, Mitch? 24-0. I know there's plenty of time left on the clock, but this has got to absolute hammer them here at the moment. Going to that break, 22-0. Well, what's that half-time? How do you come back from that in that second half?
Well, I think you got to say the message has got to be, boys, we can't score a 22-point try.
No.
So you're going to have to just do it in little 5-minute increments, set by set, and just see if you can get back into it, make a game of it. Then take things as it comes. As I said, they'll breathe a bit of a sigh of relief. It does become the 4 tries, but that was basically the task the Devils had in front of them regardless. It just means they're going to be really hard to get in front of. It basically ensures the only way the game could go the way of the Devils is via extra time. And the flags go up there. Mulheason makes no mistake.
Huge Butchers contingent over there on the hill, isn't it?
Isn't it? They've got right behind them.
Well, they'll start their celebrations this afternoon back at the Ryan's Hotel straight after this game, all 3 grades.
Indeed they will.
And We'll be hoping that under-18s trophy's with them.
Well, like I said, they got one hand on it. Mulheason reeling that one in, and Griffiths with a head of steam. Griffiths. There you go, Johnny. You just sense on that chase some of the fight going out of the Devils. Patterson in off the wing. Issa now on to Mulheason. Griffiths, his second carry of the set, Griffiths. And the kick in behind there, and that goes over the head of Plum on this side, and it'll roll into touch. I think he'd be relieved to see it do that. Perhaps wisely, Johnny, took the hand away. He was never going to be able to reel that in.
It's a nice touch finder there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
They're just gonna...
that was what we said early on. They couldn't really get to the end of their sets after points, but
they're just looking to close this game out now.
Indeed. Well, they don't need to take any risks. They don't need to do anything. The only risk they have is just to completely put the cue in the rack and even open things up. Of course, the Devils from here with nothing to lose. If you give them a sniff, they are just going to run with it. But like I said, Mulheason out there in the 6 has just really steered them to perfection this afternoon. He's played with a wisdom beyond his years this afternoon in steering them around. And you've got to back him in to steer him to the finish here as Lob now takes it up just short of the 30. Hamon now on to Finity. Nassau at dummy half. And that's O'Brien, just come onto the park, the 17. Just short of halfway. Nassau at dummy half again. Amon, well, he's going to have to be the man. He's the only man, really, Johnny, out there capable, you'd think, of dragging the Devils back into this one. And now it's Finity with the kick. Down there to Max Lees. And Max Lees, a lot of the ball from both sides has gone the other way, Johnny, but he's been faultless in his work this afternoon, Max Lees.
The back two for the Butchers have been, or the back three for the Butchers have been very, very good.
Indeed, they
haven't had a mistake yet. We've seen out of their own area, Patterson and also Lees just put the Butchers on the front foot time after time. It's just allowing the big forwards off the back end of that just motor through the middle of the paddock.
Now you've said that, Johnny, they're $1 to spill the next one that goes down there. Geez, we can put the mock on, can't we, Johnny, this year? We've been able to do it a couple of times. Nervous to wrap anybody.
I think both coaches of the first grade side have sent a message this week, haven't they?
Oh, mate, absolutely they have. Hocking. Now, Mulheason. And some good enterprising footy there. Patterson, he gets the kick on it too, but it'll roll into touch. But they're not putting the cue in the rack at all there. Johnny Wellington down that side, a bit of space for Patterson. And the cover, to the credit of West, still coming, but they're brimming with confidence at the moment.
Yeah, they sure are. They want to rack up a big score, don't they? They're ready to keep rolling onto the scoreboard. And again, they attack that right-hand side. It's been their go-to so far, isn't it? But with the likes of your Aaron Shops out there, your Jai Patterson we've seen score a try so far, it is their go-to side.
Amon, first receiver off the scrum. It's a long ball there for Lob. Dragged down there in the tackle of Martin. And some good first up contact again there from Hocking. Amon. No dummies to the outside. Tucks the ball under the arm. Big lump of a lad for a 6, Johnny. Amon, you've got to think. And there we go. Well, there's another mistake there from the Devils. And you can sense the fight really coming out of them now. Some shoulders and some heads drop there.
Well, that was Callum Ray that spilt that one. It was Aaron Shop again.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not
into the grill.
I can't blame him. I can't blame him for having a bit of a captain cook there. Aaron Shop has been sticking to him like glue. And then Boothroyd now skips to the outside. Beautiful ball playing there from Sharp, just playing slow. That was like the old English playmakers, just nice and slow. Creating some space for his outside men. Hocking now. Hocking towards the left upright. Dumped on his back on the 10-metre line. Issa onto Sherab. Sherab's second man there for Mulheason with some space. He'll back himself from there, Mulheason. And he's gone desperately close. He's in the in-goal. Michael Ford going to extreme lengths there, and that'll be the try, and that'll just about seal it, Johnny. And as we've said along the way, fitting that it is the number 6 sealing it for his side.
Yeah, great vision there from Connor Mulhouse. And at first I thought he might have bombed it there. He had numbers out to his right. He had Shop running a good angle, but he backed his own ability, backed his strength. Carried a few over the line in the end, and there we see him slam the ball down. And Michael Ford on the spot there to award that 4-pointer. And you're right, Mitch, 28 points to nil. Still 20 minutes left on the clock. But look, the Butchers, they look home and hosed in this one.
Indeed they do, and there's still 20 minutes to go, Johnny, so got to see which way this one, or how far this one could go in one direction. Bit of Lincoln Park there. Gary Harlow, I was giving him a rap all last week. He wasn't even on the controls last week. But
I think it was Dale White.
It was Dale Whiteman, so apologies. I said apologies to both of them afterwards, but he is on deck today, I'm led to believe, and playing some Lincoln Park, and well, you think that might just be the fitting tunes for the Devils to listen to here and just try to purge some angst, because it's not been their afternoon this far.
No, it hasn't. They got a bit shell-shocked to start the game, didn't they, Mitch? They just came up against a Butchers outfit that right from the go, they really stuck it to them. And look, going into the halftime break at 22 points behind on the scoreboard, it was always going to be an uphill battle. And the Butchers now stretching that lead out to 28 points to nil. Kick to come. And Mulhouse, and he has just been everything for the Butchers today.
Indeed he has. And you just think, Johnny, it was they brought their way into this grand final with a 1-point win over Dapto in a tough one last week. And you just, the way things have played out this afternoon, the emotional high of that, and obviously the physical toll it can take, may just have had a bit of an impact on the way the Devils have bounced back from this one. And we are seeing, as you said, Johnny, some black and white coming into the ground. Port Kembla in the reserve grade grand final after this one. That's a story brewing. If they can go all the way in a year, coming back from the Dare to Lazarus-like effort, and we'll see how that can play out. The Legions, though, will like their chances.
There'll be some old retro Port Kembla jumpers.
They've got to be everywhere, mate, and so they should, so they should. I always see when you go to the Devils old boy day, the old school jerseys that come out on those days, marvellous. Absolutely marvellous. They go a long way back. But I think I can see some black and white, and it looks like they may just be trying to turn this into a bit of a Port Kembla old boys day, and why wouldn't you?
It's a great story, isn't it?
Indeed it is, and we'll see how that plays out, but we'll stay with this game for now. 18 minutes left to go in it. 30-0. The score to the Butchers. Things don't get much more emphatic than that. And Shop now taking it up towards the 30. Griffiths. I really loved his work this afternoon, Johnny. As I said, he was making plenty of noise in the shed, and he's come out and really backed it up. Been physical in his carries as Mulheason puts another kick down in behind. He'll be hoping it pulls up, and it's going to Plum. And the chase on it as well. And they're going to drive him back. Well, that's as good as a set you can get after points, Johnny. Brilliant stuff there from the Butchers. They really got the wind in their sails.
That is absolutely 5-star there. They got to their kick. Mulheason put it over the fullback and the winger, and then the chase, it was led by Nelson Sharp. And look, they've got the Devils trapped inside their own 10, and they're already on the third tackle.
Amon at first receiver comes to this side on Finity. You can't blame Finity. He's put plenty of vigour into his work, the back rower on this side. And that's just a bit of a slow carry there from O'Brien, and that's just the way it's been. It's all been slow going. The line speed defensively from the Butchers has really just put the Devils under a mountain of pressure, Johnny, and we see it there again.
Got an error.
An error there. And was that the last tackle? We're seeing a changeover, so they really burn through those tackles quickly.
Well, there's 6 tackles. They only got about 25 metres up the paddock there, so the defensive effort there from the Butchers absolutely outstanding. And that man again with another carry, Griffiths. How good has he been coming off the bench?
Yeah, he's been very good. We actually got the start, Johnny. Had the 15 on his back. I was calling him Hocking earlier on, Caleb Hocking, who's also been good, the number 8, in his chances on the park. Hard to fault anyone in the Butchers, and that's a good pass there, Martin. He's got the offload away. Issa, he's got some space out the back, but he comes back in field. And Karakoussis making the tackle, and he spilled that one, and he's away now, Karakoussis.
They had a chance there, the Butchers, didn't they? They had the winger unmarked on this left-hand side, Max Lees, but Issa, he tried to do it all himself, and he's just come up with a slight error. But 30 points to nil, you do tend to get a bit greedy at times.
I think we've seen a penalty there for dissent. There, Michael Ford, he's just heard something from the Butchers that he didn't like the sound of. I like the way Martin on this side, Johnny, he hasn't really looked for support from his winger in a good fashion. You want a centre thinking through the line first and then look for support. He's really, really run with some gusto this afternoon, the centre. Hard to find, as I said, a bad player for the Butchers.
They've all been good, haven't they?
And now it is Amone. Second man now for Finity. Sherab and Griffiths making that tackle with Calamese still going, Finity, and now he's picked up there and gently put down by Griffiths. Thankfully there.
Ooh, that's your man.
Here it is.
That was your man again.
He's making him stick there. Max Barnes copying that one square on the chest as Amone off his right foot. Back on the inside. That's good footy. And dragged down though.
What a try.
They'll say he's got it down. No, in your defence, Johnny, I know you think he's short of the line because there is a second line there that was the end line for the soccer the other night, the Olyroos. But beautiful work there back on the inside, and they scored their first try of the afternoon there through Rangaheda.
Well, that's better from Amone, isn't it? He's needed to really stand up there, and he created that little bit through the middle of the paddock. And there's the Devils' first points of the day.
And Amone, as you said, he hadn't been able to create a lot. It's not for lack of trying. He's handled the ball plenty of times, but he just hasn't done it with any momentum. But he just got off the back of a decent quick play the ball and a carry and back through the middle. Well supported there by his number 9. And Lob adds the extras, so they break their duck in this one. The Devils, 30-6, the score, 14 minutes remaining. And the Butchers, they're in no rush to get up there. By now, you think it goes one of two ways, doesn't it, Johnny? The Butchers, they just enjoy this and keep the foot on the throat, or they just let the clock play out there and just start thinking about some of the celebrations. I think by now they could probably taste that first tin. And Mulheason, he's cannon that one over there on that side, and thankfully it bounces up nicely for Lazacic.
That was an interesting kickoff, wasn't it?
He just, cannon in the ground. I don't know if he's looking for touch there, Mulheason. I think that might have been the case as Nassau takes it up towards halfway. Amone again. Dummies to the outside, Amone, and tucks the ball under the arm. Sharp stripped that out. Well, that's a penalty. That's a silly one from Sharp. I don't know what he's thinking there.
Very silly, isn't it?
It was a 4-on-1, and he's just ripped the ball straight out. I don't know what he was thinking there, Sharp. That's a strange one from the number 7.
He's not happy about it either. Giving himself a bit of a slap on the head there. Bit of a brain explosion there from Nelson Sharp.
I suppose you can afford one when you're up 30-6 with 13 minutes left. If the game was in the balance, you'd almost get the Shepherds look out for that one. The ball out the back now for Lob. Good dragged tackle down there by Sherab. Well, he made the tackle on the bloke before, so he's really trying to sprint through the finishing tape. Sherab with his effort. Nassau now back towards the post. He's playing it 20 metres out. Almost the middle of the park. Barnes. Dummies on the outside to Finity, but dragged down there by Issa. Simone again. Finity outside. Goes off his right foot, Amone. He's going to get close to the line. Desperately close to the line, and they're going to say a penalty. I don't think they ever got back on side, is what Michael Ford's saying. Amone. It was a good effort to bring him down short. Jeez, doesn't he dig in when he goes off that right foot, Johnny?
I love it when you see him go to the line. How good does he look when he attacks that line and puts that ball under his wing, steps off that right foot? He bamboozles the defence, doesn't he? He's a big lump.
He just looks like he's a bit gassed, Johnny. He's had to carry the torch most of the afternoon, almost solo, as we see Rangatower again. Now it's Amone. Flat ball there, and outside in there it was Martin, I think, coming in and just deflecting that one.
Well, it was a try saver there from Martin.
Yeah, he came out and in.
If he didn't get that, it was a 2-on-1 situation on this right-hand side. So Josh Martin there just backing his judgment there, and it's paid off for him. I know it's come up with a mistake here, but look, if he didn't make that play, it would have been try time for the Devils.
Indeed, and all of a sudden things do start getting interesting. As we said, it's very much an uphill climb still. Looks like the Butchers trying to get one against the feed here. Wouldn't that just tell the story of the day if they could? They don't. Amone Second man onto Lob. Lob back on the outside to Karakousas. He'll play at 15 in from touch. Lazarchik now. He'll play it a couple of metres short of the line. Nassau at first receiver. Onto Amon. He's got runners inside and out. Finity and Wilt. There's a shot. Hammersley. Just front on there. Just lined up Finity and gave him everything. Amon off the right foot again. It's almost identical to where he went close before. And again, the same result. They drag him down there, the Butchers. He might have even just picked up a bit of a knock there, Amon. He's going to play on and play it. And it's a slower one, and there it is again, Martin outside in. Just monstering in defence there. It is the last tackle. Amon, he's a little bit busted as we saw. He drops that on the toe. He's looking for a bounce. Shop goes straight around it, but Issa there to clean up the scraps. He'll be forced in goal. And so it will be a line dropout.
We've talked about Josh Martin, his attacking flair and going through the line, but defensively he's been so sound on this left-hand side, hasn't he?
Indeed he has, Johnny.
We're starting to see Junior Amon really take control here at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah, it could be a case of too little too late with 9 minutes to go, but just sensing some urgency in his game. But as we've said, Johnny, it's focused on the number 6 a lot. There hasn't been a lot offered in attack elsewhere. It's now Tamari with a head of steam, really winding up into that one, and he's collected high by Hammersley, and he's copped a bit of a knock as well, Hammersley. Bit of a head clash. He's going at his head, and so is Boothroyd. They've ended up colliding there. You can see clearly they're in a world of hurt, Boothroyd in particular, and now we're just seeing a bit of argy-bargy.
Oh, it has been an egg clash there, Hammersley and Boothroyd. Tell you what, Boothroyd's had a tough day at the office.
Hasn't he?
Both ends of the spectrum.
Exactly.
He's
Literally both ends of the spectrum.
Chat's crackers are now his head. I'm sure it'll all be forgotten in a few hours once he's slamming down some Victoria's tinnies at the Ryan's Hotel.
What about this purple rain? Doesn't that just carry you to the end of... This is the extended version too. There's 8 minutes 51 to go. Just let it play. Let it play, Gary.
Get it through the whole
all the way to the end. Almost don't want to call Johnny. Just want to sit here and listen to that. The rhythmic sounds. Prince, God rest him. And Boothroyd, he might have copped a bit of a gash there as well. Both boys the worst for wear. He's copped it square in the face on this side, Hammersley. He's got the blood pouring out of the nose and the tissue.
We might see one of those great tape-up jobs of the...
Yeah, exactly. We might see the Hannibal Lecter. I think here with 8 minutes to go, you might just give him a bit of a spell. But it's Boothroyd. He's going to get the tape around the head. Cooper George now coming onto the park in the number 16. I am noticing across the park, Johnny, they must all go to the same barber. These boys in the Thirroul under 18s. It's the same haircut all the way across.
It's the Northern Suburbs edition.
Oh, indeed it was. I went to I emceed Thirroul's Prezzo last year, and a great day that was. One of the best afternoons of my year, certainly, but all the 18s boys, they rocked up identical, mate. The white shirt, the black jeans, and the joggers. So it's good to see a team that's that connected. They all rock up in uniform, as we see Barnes now taking it up towards the 20. He'll play it almost dead on that 20. Rangahaida there. And apologies, I'm sure I'm butchering that name, but I'm doing the best I can. Nassau now, flat ball out there. That's a nice ball there from Nassau. And that's Sepulveda coming back in towards the post. Beautiful ball there from Nassau. He's the other one. If you want to mention about, we've talked about Amon being a real focal point for them. The skipper Nassau, he's really done everything he could out there as well. And he gets a try assist there. Sepulveda.
Sensational ball, wasn't it?
Indeed it was.
Good line run by Sepulveda as well.
He did, and it's just another, like we said, a little bit of case too low. I don't know if the Butchers are getting a bit lax in their line speed out that side, just sensing the finish line in this one. Credit to the Devils though, Johnny. They haven't completely shut up shot. We said I thought early on in this one I saw some shoulders and some heads drop, and you thought, okay, this could get really ugly, but they've stuck to it.
Tell you what, the referees have got the tinnies out now.
There we go. Well, you knew it was a matter of time, wasn't it? Just between games, Johnny. I might go get him out. I might go get him out, Franklin myself.
Yep.
From the open bar.
The beer baron's finally taken the lock off it.
Yeah, well, there you go. He kept us locked up. I told him we were professionals, Johnny. We shot the podcast in there the other day, or recorded the podcast, rather. We weren't even thinking of the beer fridge, were we?
It wasn't even one lock. He put two on it.
There it was, an extra one. Oh, yeah, well, you know, he keeps everything under lock and key, mate. Runs a tight ship, the beer baron. Living up to his name there, he was... Rex Banner, he was enforcing the prohibition on that occasion. A shot puts this one high. That'll be a tough take at the back. Lobby does well.
Kyle felt like, isn't it?
Those kickoffs go large, don't they? As Tamari now taking up over the 26 minutes left in this one. 30-12 the score in favour of the Butchers. It's just been their afternoon. Amone back on the inside for Finity. Just short of the 40 now, the Devils. Amone at first receiver. Early ball for Finity on this side. He goes the flick pass. That's taken a flexion, so it'll be 6 to go. Amone, he'll play it just over halfway, but that'll be the 0. Finity now, just not quite at a full gallop. Takes it up over the Butchers 40. Ray dummies to Barnes and then runs around the back of him.
Straight in the shop.
Shop again. Well, I don't know what you do. He's just got up saying, what are you going to do? Shoppy needs to buy him a beer after this one. Really been all over the number 7. Been a tough afternoon for him as Amone now goes deep into the line. Finds Karakoussis. He's tackled well there. And now it's Amone again. Amone drops it on the toe, but Issa goes back to field that one and does well to get back into the field of play. 4 minutes 50 left. So counting down on this one, Lees. And that one might have just crept up. No, they say play on. Michael Ford around the shoulders. Shop now. Steamy onto that one. Just outside the goal box there. And Mulheason dummies short side comes open. And that is Hocking. And Shop's just picked up a bit of injury there in back play. Doesn't look too serious. Looks like he'll be okay. Well, he's not getting much sympathy from Mitch Bates, so it can't be too much of an issue back there. Martin and Kennedy just exchanging some words there, and that kick long one down there for Lob. He'll bring it back. And a full defensive line in chase of that one. It was a good return there from Lob, but a full defensive line there to meet him again, Johnny.
Yeah, it was a good kick chase, the Butchers. They're just all in motion on them kick chases, aren't they? It's been a feature of today's game, but Mulheason out of acting half there. He's lobbed that one about 60 on the fly, and it's just been a great feature of Mulheason today.
It was, dare I say, Zach Green, like he just heaved it with the sledgehammer. Just a bit of an injury here. I think it's Finity, who has been good as well, Johnny, for the Devils. Hopefully he comes through this unscathed. They're not carrying too much of a knock.
Is this one of your favourites as well?
There's another one coming, mate. Here we go. I don't know how they logged into my Spotify, mate. No, mate. If they logged into my Spotify, they'd just see Darryl Braithwaite, The Horses on repeat, mate. All day. My favourite playlist, 7 hours of The Horses. And Shop, he has just come there. He might have copped a bit of a burner in the shoulder there and getting an early mark. Sharing some good times there, though, it looks like, with Brent Gross on the sideline. And why wouldn't they? It's been well earned, the Butchers. They've just been superior from start to finish in this one. You do hope, through a year they've had, and you always hope, Johnny, that you can put it all together on grand final day and it works for you, and it certainly has. And we just see the game still paused there for, I think it might be Karakoussis that was down. Did you know it is Finity, as I initially said? And they just check the neck. He seems okay, and that's good to see. As I said, he's been very, very good on this edge.
A few smiles down the Butchers camp now. Mish
Bit of affinity. Yeah, there is. You just sense it, don't you? They're starting to get into celebration mode, and they can probably afford to now, Johnny. 3 minutes 40 left on the clock, 30-12 the score. Everything is purely elementary at this point.
What about Matty Ray's bright red shoes down there?
Oh, mate, I said that before he wears them. If he clicks his heels and says there's no place like home, he'll end up at the Parish Park Beer Caravan.
How good are they?
Indeed they are.
What a trendsetter.
That's what I said, mate. He's West Devils down to his shoes, Matty Ray.
What about the bucket hat he's got?
Yeah, mate, a better servant of footy and of a club I'm yet to meet. There's the kick bending back that way over there, and I think it's going to roll into touch. He gets the bat back there on that side. It was Plum trying to keep that one in, but it does go into touch, and can't imagine either side will be in too much of a rush to pack this scrum.
No, they'll just waddle their way over and pack this scrum. Just over 3 minutes remaining, and then we'll hear the cheers of the Butchers. Gary Harlow for sure to bust out simply the best Tina Turner.
Yeah, exactly. Well, mate, that'll be the 4th time I've heard that this morning. And all my own doing, like I said. Shared it on my own Facebook channels, mate. The nostalgia. They have the video of her walking out on the Simply the Best at the grand final and singing it. It just makes you pied. It makes you want to ring up Channel 9 and just say, you pack of bastards need to give us back an afternoon grand final, because this is what we're missing.
How old's Tina Turner? Can she do a comeback?
Oh, she's still battling, mate. I think she absolutely can. She's still around. Had heard in the winds there was a comeback coming. So we see Martin now, and he volleyballs that back inside. And well, there's a shot from Amone, and not a lot of arm in it. Amone, and now Martin and Barnes just close to us in there. And they all walk away, no harm done, and that's good to see, Johnny. You don't want to see things turn sour with just 2 minutes to go. The Butchers, it's been their afternoon. They've been, as we said, superior from start to finish, but the Devils' game in this second half make a game of it. In fact, won the second half, Johnny, I believe, looking at the score. 12-8 so far in this second stanza.
Sharps kicked that one to Chico's.
There you go. Mulheason back on the inside for Sherab. 30 metres out. The Butchers looking to put an exclamation point on this one. Mulheason in from dummy half. He's dangerous from there. Talked about the first grade experience he's had this year. It's mostly been at dummy half. And to be honest, Johnny, I think if he has a future elsewhere as in the number 9, I think he's just custom built for that position. As we see Sherab now, who'll play it just a metre short. Sharp now onto Mulheason, who that was a tough pass to take. And I think it's bounced just short of him. And that'll be the scrum. And that might just be about it. 1:11 on the clock. I can't imagine either side is going to rush to pack this one. 30-12 the score in favour of the Butchers. And Nassau, the skipper, just picking up some cramp there. Good to see some of the sportsmanship there. I think it's Sharp just giving him a bit of a hand there on that one. Well done, boys. Good to see. That has been good, hasn't it, Johnny? Sometimes, as we say, the under-18s, things can boil over. And there's been some fire in it. There's been the odd scuffle here and there, but played in very, very good spirit.
Yep. Good fashion, good spirit.
As you said, I think there's some boys that have played a bit of rep footy alongside each other that make it a rivalry. It's as good as any in this league, Thirroul and Wests. And if we see one against the feet, I said, Johnny, that'll tell the story of the afternoon. We haven't got it. And we hear the final countdown. Here it comes.
He just dropped down then in the middle of the scrum.
I think he just did, trying to get the footy. I love seeing that the other day, Johnny, in the Tigers-Dragons game. The Tigers tried to do that infuriating, stupid, bloody trap the ball at the back of the scrum. I hate that. I hate that. It's just pointless and stupid. They're trying to get the penalty, and then they lost the feed, lost the ball against the feed. Serves you right, but that'll be it. The siren will sound, and there it is, the Butchers. They're going to celebrate this one, and look at Sharp straight over there to the hill. You go straight over to the supporters there. That fence, well, I hope it's reinforced because it's going to take a real tumble here in a second. 30-12, the score. Thirroul Butchers. That trophy, it will head to the Ryan's Hotel. And we can only guess at how many litres of beer are going to be drunk out of that tonight, Johnny. Is it a cup or is it a trophy?
I think it's just a trophy.
It's just a trophy.
Yeah.
Well, good thing. To be honest, I wouldn't trust an under-18 side with the cup. If it's a perpetual one, you won't get it back.
What scenes here at Wynn Stadium. How good is it when the supporters are hanging over the hill, the winning team runs over there, jumps over the fence. Great to see.
Indeed. Well earned, as we said, and rightly to celebrate. It's special, Johnny. I don't talk about my playing days a whole lot, but my most treasured memory in rugby league is under-18s premiership with the mighty Foster Tuncurry Hawks. Back in 2005 it was, Johnny. 2005. But the memories you have as an under-18s, if you can win a competition with all the guys, they're the guys you grow up with, they're the guys that you go to school with, the guys you spend sort of every waking minute with, they're your best mates, and of course all premiership special, and you win them in higher grades. But the makeup of the side, just that little bit different. It's very, very special.
Which your last age
to win. It's your last one to do with all the same mates. A lot of guys obviously go their separate ways and don't play again after under-18s footy. They move on to whatever else life is going to offer them. And so they should treasure every bit of these moments and soak it up. And as we see the ceremony's about to get underway, they've got Jared Constable, JC down there, the Ranger Ray Martin down there. They've got him on the mic.
Pull out the big guns for the big days.
Talk about you got to love a redhead, mate. You can't get through a grand final. You can't get through a grand final presentation without a tough redhead.
Thirroul to be your pick for man of the match.
No, not Thirroul, mate. I think game set match Connor Mulheason, the best player on the park there. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't get that medal. And good to see, like we said, Johnny played in good spirit. Both sides coming together there to shake hands and share the good wishes.
Last time we'll see Aaron Shop in Butcher's colours.
Yeah,
you tend to
indeed.
think he's going to a different blue and white.
Yeah, well, of course, unless we see a Reece Hambry or a Glenn Stewart type effort maybe in the years go by, and if it's after a career like both of those gentlemen have enjoyed, then that'd be fantastic to see. Probably put Brent Gross, the under-18s coach, in that category as well. Sean O'Connor, the great man. Indeed, that's true, Johnny. We only mentioned before Tristan Saylor's match-winning efforts here 3 years ago, and look at what he's doing now. Hopefully we see not just one or two, maybe 3 or 4, Johnny, go on and forge great careers from both of these two sides.
I think we will. I think we'll see some very, very handy footballers go through some grades out of not just Thirroul, but also West as well.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed, well done to the referees. I think they officiated that very well. You love to see a lot of pressure on the refs in a grand final, but Michael Ford and Cody Simmers, Ryan Sweeney there. Well done to the men in white. You know it's gone okay when they can stand that close to one of the sides, don't you? It's celebrate with them. But well done, boys. Well said there, Giovanni Nassau, the skipper. As I said, he was another one who put it all on the line for the Devils.
Today's man of the match in the grand final had a lot of great players and some outstanding performances. Today's man of the match is Connor Mulheason.
Well, there you said it, Johnny. We said he was $1. He's done very well. The number 6, as I said, very good in number 6, but I've watched him play in first grade at dummy half and certainly think he's got a future there.
Yeah, big future.
Is it Rex Bannerman calling for the video referee there?
Thanks everyone for coming out, eh? How good? I'd like to thank all the supporters for coming out. Wes, thanks for a tough competition all year. Yeah, it's been 20 years since we won it. Thank you boys on the Hero Award too. We wouldn't have done it without it, eh? Thanks to you boys, my brothers. Wouldn't have done it without it. So proud of you today. Congratulations to the Thirroul Butchers. This year's under-18s Illawarra Division Rugby League Premiers.
So there you have it. Premiers for 2019 under-18s. Thirroul Butchers, 30-12 winners over the Devils. They'll no doubt take that back to the Ryans Hotel and it'll be a hell of a night. Yeah, hopefully all and sundry up there in the Northern Beaches can come and join them for one. Sure it'll head well into tomorrow as well, Johnny. But well done, boys. Well done to the Thirroul Butchers and to the Thirroul Football Club. Claiming the trophy. It's the first in an absolute thrilling triple header this afternoon, as we've said. The reserve grade grand final between Collegians, Collie Dogs and the Port Kembla Blacks coming right up just in a moment. We'll be back with that in just a little second.